Oui, for Paris, yes. Alongside Jason Shepard, I am Spencer Linton. Welcome back to BYU Sports Nation. It is our absolute pleasure to welcome in a couple of guys who are headed to Paris to compete for Team USA in the steeplechase. They are Kenneth Rooks and James Corrigan. Welcome, gentlemen. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
After just what has been a super successful, wild past few weeks.
Yes, it's been pretty wild. It's been awesome.
James, we'll start with you.
Sure.
You told us last week during an interview on BYUSN that you needed to hit 8:15 to hit the standard so that you get to the Olympics. You knew the pressure was on. You knew your buddy Kenneth was going to be helping pace you. So to actually pull that off I think the official time was closer to 8:14, but to do that, what was that like for you in that moment?
Yeah, it was awesome. There was a lot more pressure than I was used to, just because, you know, even if you're doing good, you're still in a position to be the underdog, and that's a good feeling in all these races I came into. And I think sometimes my competition can kind of brush things off, and so I'm like, oh, perfect, you know, don't look at me, I'll just do my thing. But in this case, everything was for me to race as well as I could have and run a fast time. And so there was a lot of pressure, and it helped me a ton to talk to some of these guys who are, I mean, a three-peat champion knows what it's like to handle pressure when everyone's looking at you. And so actually doing it was really satisfying because I felt like I matured in my competition a lot.
So Kenneth, I mean, Spencer touched on it, you know, setting the pace for him. What was it like to watch him from that perspective?
Yeah, that's a great question. So actually, the morning of the race, like my foot had actually started to get just a little sore towards the end of the week. So we actually made the decision to have me not be out there helping set the pace for him. So I had a little different perspective on it. We had Daniel Mikowski there.
Sure.
And he did a perfect job pacing, and really happy that we reached out to him and had him out there, and it was awesome to have him be a part of that and to set the pace for James. But I was close to the finish line, and I was just trying to just make sure I was yelling at James and Dan as they were going by, and keeping the energy high, and it was just exciting, like just seeing them go through and just to be so laser focused. And they came through like a mile, like right on pace, and I was just, I almost started crying. I was kind of emotional just because I was just so excited, so happy, and I was like, I think they're gonna do it. And then he came through with like 2 laps to go, and all I needed to do was run 2:10 to run 8:15, and I was like, James could do that. He's got that. And then it was awesome to just be like, because I was right there at when he had like 1 lap to go, and he realized that all he had to do was run a 65. And so he crossed the line and he smiled because he knew that he knew that he could close faster than 65. Yeah. So he closed in a 63, got that 8:13. So it was awesome to have a little bit of a different role there as more of a teammate and a coach, and everything worked exactly as it needed to work out.
So you brought something up that I've always been curious about. So I mean, obviously you guys are focused on what you're doing, and you've got people cheering for you. And are you even aware of people around you, or because you're so laser focused, do you have to go back and actually kind of look at some of the video to see what actually was going on around you?
Sometimes this was a unique situation because I knew that everyone was cheering for me, and so, at least most people were. But most races, I don't hear a thing. I rarely hear or can pinpoint even coaches afterwards. I can't remember anything. I know during the race, I'm sure subconsciously I'll hear something and make a decision based off of that, but it's so hard to think. You're just locked in. But this race, I could hear everybody. I was like, okay, that's Ashley, that's my mom, that's my dad. I was like, I know that whistle, that's Coach, that's Kenny. And it also helped that, you know, Kenny was literally in my face, right there screaming. And so
you're right. Kenneth, are you crying?
No, but any little bit of a, you know, when you start to like zone out a little bit, it was like, boom, right in my face, snap out of it. And so hearing everybody and knowing they're cheering for me, it was a very unique race where I paid attention to everything, kind of, you know, you want to lock in still, but hearing everybody was different this time.
Yeah.
To be teammates and headed to Paris and know that you're going to be in the opening ceremonies as BYU Cougars, and there are 7 now that have officially qualified, which is the most in almost, I want to say more than 50 years as far as a collective group. What does that mean to you? A question for both of you. Kenneth, we'll start with you. To be in that group of BYU Cougars that are going to be there at the opening ceremonies rocking the red, white, and blue.
You know, it's an incredible honor. I mean, it's a special moment in BYU history, and it's really cool to be a part of it. But like a lot of the people who are going, like I've been teammates with everybody who's going at some point or another, other than I think Jimmer.
Yeah.
But
Jimmer's everybody's teammate, though.
Yeah.
Come on.
He's America's teammate.
Yes, that's true. And so it's just really special. And you know, even like to just share this with James too, like it was awesome finishing the trials, and to know that like I'd won, I'd made it to the Olympics, and turn around and see James like I got third. So it was a special moment, especially like what he did this last Saturday it makes it even more special to me, because he went out and he ran the Olympic standard, and that's not an easy thing to do, especially like within less than a week after you just basically ran the best race of your life. So anyways, it's special to be a part of this BYU history and to rep the Y and rep the US. I got to do that last year at Budapest, but happy to do it again this year in Paris.
A little different this time around.
Yeah, a little different this time.
So what does the schedule look like for you guys over the next, when do you guys get there? Take us through what the next couple of weeks are like, and you've got a little something extra that you've got to work in before you even go over there. You're getting married too.
Yeah, that's right.
So take me through what this schedule looks like over the next couple of weeks for you two.
Well, I can start since I have the earliest landmark there, but I'm getting married this Friday, so I'm super excited about that. But after that, I'll go on a honeymoon, and that'll be my just mileage week, no workouts probably. And but beyond that, we'll have 5 or 6 weeks probably of training, and then I know we're getting there for the opening ceremonies, and then we'll do we'll have to talk to coach about it. It's like we're doing that right after this actually, so
Yeah.
We'll plan some more about what it's going to look like because our event's later in the games.
Second honeymoon in Paris, then?
Possibly,
James?
yeah.
Okay.
If we can afford that.
Well, yeah, trust me, I've been there, and I know how that goes. Kenneth, as you watch not just James, but so many collectively go from track and field specifically, what does this mean for BYU track and field as a collective group under Ed Isone and Diljit Taylor?
Yeah, you know, I think it means a lot, especially to Ed Isone. I mean, he has like 4 athletes right now that he's currently coaching that are going, and it means a lot to Coach Taylor too. And for the program, I think that it's just we already have a really good program, and with a lot of really good people. But I think it's just going to inspire everybody to just keep working hard and to maybe set their goals a little bit higher. And it's just incredible to be along for the journey, and I've been inspired by some of the guys who've gone before us throughout, like both my teammates and throughout BYU history. And so it's cool to be in that position where we can kind of inspire others to also kind of lift into.
Sure.
And yeah.
Well, Kenneth, I need to follow up on Jason's question for James as well. Like, how much different is your calendar compared to his with the wedding and all?
Well, like when you say calendar, are you talking about like from now until the Olympics?
Yeah.
Well, James is probably going to have an easier week this week than me, because he raced this last weekend, so I'll have a little bit of a harder week this week in terms of workouts than him. But then hopefully we can line up our training and work together, and I'm really excited that we can train together.
Where will that take place primarily, the training?
Primarily it's going to be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go across the country to do different things?
No. We're considering maybe doing something in Europe for a little bit. We're figuring that out, but yeah.
Gotcha.
So take us through what the competition is going to be like. What are your expectations? What type of competition will you be going up against? Take us through that and what you are expecting of yourself when you get there.
Yeah, well, the competition is going to be the best in the world. I have confidence that I can close with the best in the world, especially after how I closed at the Olympic trials a week ago. And I think that both of us should have the confidence that we can compete with the best in the world, and we'll see how everything turns out. I mean, really, like, we're just going to be focused on training and peaking to have another amazing performance for both of us at the Olympics, and we'll see what happens. We'll be curious.
Yeah, well, you and everybody across BYU Sports Nation is very excited and curious.
What about you, James?
I don't know what to expect. I don't really know too many of the guys in that field, but I will say if Kenny's confident and I get to train with, you know, a three-peat champion, a guy who feels like he can outkick everybody, I feel like I'm in a good spot. So I'm just going to treat everybody as if they're just, you know, racers in a race like normal. And
Sure.
I think that's how I had to approach the trials, is just be okay, you know, like, oh man, I'm passing him, or I shouldn't be with this guy, you know, like I just had to like put all that away. And so that's what I'm going to, that's the kind of attitude I'm going to have going into the Olympics, is just, I trust my training. I trust, you know, Kenny, obviously, and if he thinks that, you know, we can do certain things, let's do it.
Wow, you both
You guys want to hold up the
so much.
the medals so we can
Show,
get
show
it?
up the gold and the bronze.
Yeah, I mean, how sweet is that? That is so cool.
They're heavy too.
They are heavy. Yeah, you let me hold one a second ago. That's legit weight right there.
That's saying something from Jason.
No.
You must have lifted that medal on a daily basis to work on those biceps. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, super thrilled for you. And thanks for making time for us in your busy schedules. Good luck with the wedding.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
I mean, good grief. Like, just buckle up.
Yeah, we'll give you the BYU Sports Nation karma for the wedding, and then obviously
thank you,
for the
thank you.
Olympics as well. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.